Hello everyone, Average Adam here, and welcome back to another Grand Tournament card discussion. We're going to be talking about the next new 22 cards that were announced over the last week through August 2nd, which is a Sunday. So let's get right into it and start with our first card here, the Garrison Commander. Neutral epic card. 2 cost 2/3, that's pretty much average for a 2 cost minion. You can use your hero power twice in your turn, so not just mages will be able to use their hero power multiple times. This is a very nice card because you can use it early. It's something that needs to be removed, otherwise face hunters are going to get extreme value out of that, so you need to kill it quickly unless you want to get sniped twice by their hero power. It's something that is a body that needs to be destroyed. Any card that has immediate threat and needs to be taken care of is a really, really good card. And this one, I can definitely see it getting a lot of play in all these new Inspire decks and stuff. So this next card we're going to talk about is a new legendary, neutral legendary, and I think this is going to be one of the better ones of all the neutral legendaries out there. The Justicar True Heart. 6 cost, 6/3, replace your hero power with a better one. What does that mean? Well, all the hero powers go pretty much up a notch. So let's look at all the hero powers here. Ballista Shot replaces the Hunter one for 3 hero damage instead of 2. The Druid gets Dire Shapeshift, gain 2 armor and 2 attack this turn, so it doubles in power. The Fire Blast rank 2, deal 2 damage, goes up on damage. Heal, which is no longer lesser heal, it's now just heal. Heal 4 health, which is awesome. Poison Daggers equip a 2/2 weapon, much nicer. Soul Tap, you get to draw a card without having to suffer the 2 damage, left there. Tank Up, which is better than Armor Up, plus 4 armor. The Silver Hand, so you get 2 Silver Hand recruits for 2 costs. That's really good. Let's see, Totemic Slam, summon a totem of your choice, and this was also revealed that you can actually have multiple of the same totem when summoning of your choice. That's actually really nice for Shaman, considering their hero power has always been random. So those are all the hero powers that get pretty much beefed up with the Justicar True Heart, and it is a battle cry, so immediately this takes effect, and for the rest of the game you will have that new buffed up hero power, which is absolutely awesome. The only way this ability does not work is if you've changed your hero power in some way, if you become Jaraxxus, if you put on Shadow Form. If you change your hero power in any way, this won't have any effect. Also, if you switch your hero power to a different one, you will not be able to get this afterwards to replace your old hero power. It only works if you have your base hero power throughout the game, so you don't want to run this with Jaraxxus, you don't want to run this with anything that's going to change your hero power. Other than that, it's an amazing card, and it's a very slow card. It's a tempo lost, because the minion itself dies really easily. But other than that, it's going to be a really nice card, and I think it's going to make for some truly crazy plays. Next, we got the North Sea Kraken. Neutral card, 9 cost, 9/7, Battlecry, deal 4 damage. Basically, a really, really big body fire elemental. So it does 1 more damage than fire elemental. It's a big body. You know, it's not easily destroyed. A fireball will not kill this thing. So it's going to have to be a big game Hunter Sponge or something. But the fact that it does 4 damage, this is actually going to be a really nice card, I think. It's a neutral, it's not a legendary, it's a common. So you can have multiple of these in a deck. So it's a card I think is going to see some definite play. If you're trying to think of that late game high cost minion throw in your deck, this is actually a really good choice. There are legendaries that aren't as good as this. So definitely a very, very good card, and I look forward to playing around with that. So let's talk about legendary cards for classes. This is the first legendary class card that was announced, and I am very, very scared of this one, to be honest. 6 cost, 4/4, Wilfred Fizzlebang. Cards you draw from your hero power cost 0. Now mind you, he's a 6 cost, so if you play this like a turn 10 and you can use your hero power twice, you're going to get to draw 2 cards. Very much likely you'll get to draw Jaraxxus out of that and get to play him for free. Wilfred Fizzlebang is definitely an amazing card. Slight tempo loss. If you play him on turn 6, he's probably going to get destroyed pretty quickly. But if you can manage to get some cards out of him that cost 0, that is going to be absolutely awesome. Great legendary card, and I'm glad to see that Warlocks are getting another, awesome legendary. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I'm happy with that. Next, we got the Tournament Medic. 4 cost, 1/8. Those are really, really interesting stats. But Inspire, restore 2 health to your hero. I can see Priest using this card a bit because it's got a really, really high health for its cost. So for 4 cost, you get 8 health, which is huge. you know, a little divine spirit inner fire kind of thing going on, and you end up with a 16/16 pretty cheaply. Plus the fact that if he takes damage, you just heal him, and it also heals yourself. So, anti-face hunter card, I think this guy can definitely see some use here and there. Even cards like, I don't know, I can really see any class using this. Any class that doesn't have any healing for themselves, this is definitely a really, really good outlet for that. So, good card. I like this guy. Next, we're going to go over the Coliseum Manager. 3 cost, 2/5, kind of wonky stats, but Inspire, return this minion to your hand. The stats for the value are decent, they're on the upside, but if you Inspire, he goes back to your hand, and honestly, I don't see a real good way of that being useful. I mean, sure, he pops back up if he's near low health, and you can put him back out again, but I don't know, unless you're like running Sun Fury Protectors and stuff to put taunts on him. He's a weird card. He might be good, he might not. He might have some secret cards that work with him amazingly. We don't know yet. So, other than that, I give this guy a mediocre review, but I think he's got potential. So, next we're going to go over the Silverhand Regent. I'm a little kind of confused by this card. 3 cost, 3/3, Inspire, summon a 1/1 Silverhand Recruit. I'm not really confused as to what it does. I'm confused as to why they're allowing all classes to be able to summon Silverhand Recruits. That's supposed to be a Paladin thing. Well, anytime you draw a card, or anytime you use your hero power, you're going to be getting a Silverhand Recruit. So it's not just for Paladins anymore. This is a neutral card. So, very, very interesting. I think something that every time you use your hero power, you get a 1/1 would have been an interesting thing, but the fact that it summons Recruits, it's going to be included in any Paladin deck that runs, you know, Silverhand Recruits and Quartermasters and stuff to buff them up. But the fact that neutrals can get it too, I'm not too sure if I like this card or not. It's definitely good for what it is. It is a good card. So, but Paladins, your Silverhand Recruits are no longer your own. Sorry. Next, we're going to go over a Priest card, the Holy Champion. 4 cost for a 3/5. Whenever a character is healed, gain 2 attack. This is a definite threat. So if you play him on turn 6, play him down, and then heal yourself, you end up with a 5/5 for 4, which is really good. It's only going to get bigger. So if you have other ways of getting healing, or say you have a circle of healing that can really easily buff up the entire board, this thing can hit really hard on the next turn. So, and it's permanent stats. Those stats do not leave. Once you get 1 heal off, you've gotten value on this guy. So a very, very nice Priest card that will be used in healing Priest decks to give them a really heavy damage hitter, which I'm very, very happy about. That's a very good card. I love it. I love playing Priest, and that's going to make Priest even more fun. Next, we got the King's Defender. It's a warrior weapon. 3 cost, 3/2 weapon, which is bad because a Fiery War Axe does the same thing. But if you have a minion with Taunt, it gets +1 durability, therefore becoming a 3/3 weapon for 3, which is really good. So, but you have to have a minion with Taunt. So actually, this aids Control Warrior. Control Warrior, if it has a Taunt, you'll get a 3/3 weapon, which is 3 swings worth of removal, 9 damage. That's really good. That's really, really nice. And this is a very nice weapon. I think it'll see play. Definitely. Control Warrior, trying to kind of teeter them away from the everyone get in here kind of thing. We'll see if they'll do it. But Control Warrior is pretty much the only way you can play Warrior, and this aids Control Warrior. So, yep, more control. Next, we got another neutral, 2 cost, 2/3. No, that seems to be a definitely a running joke there. Flame Juggler. Battle Cry. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy. I don't... For its stats, it is good. The fact that it's a random enemy, I don't know. I think if it was a targeted thing, it wouldn't actually be that bad. Actually, no, if it was targeted, it would actually take out Elvish Archer and pretty much make it insuperior in every way. Random enemy, I think, works. It's a decent card. I don't know if it's going to be good. You can run into random decks, see what happens, kind of thing. But yeah, it's decent. I'll give this card a decent review, even though a lot of people seem to be hating on it right now. But other than that, it's a good card. Yeah, Flame Juggler. I like it. Druid card. We get to see a Druid card finally. The Savage Combatant. It's 4 cost for a 5/4. It is a beast, so we get a little bit more beast synergy, which is something that Blizzard's been trying to do since Goblins vs. Gnomes. Inspire, give your hero +2 attack this turn. So you use your hero power, and instead it gives you 3 attack and 1 armor, which is really, really nice. That makes your hero power absolutely insane. This is 4 cost for a 5/4, so it's a decent average thing, but the fact that it gives you that extra effect to make your hero power better is awesome, and it's good that they're making the Druid hero power a little more buff. That actually might make people use cards like Savagery that don't get any use. It'll be very, very nice. I think this card is going to be seen in a few Druid decks, at least in the Inspired Druid decks for sure. Next, we're going to go on to some mech. We got 5 cost, 5/5 Clockwork Knight. So mechs, apparently Blizzard has not forgotten about them. So Battlecry, give a friendly mech 1/1. That's pretty good. You know, if you're running a mech deck, this fills up the 5 slot, which before was only taken up by the anti-kill bot or junk bot, which junk bots weren't usually run. But this is actually a really good guy. I think mech decks are definitely going to run this guy. He's perfect for his stats, and he's got pretty cool artwork there. I like his little metallic horse and the red eyes. Kind of cool. Next, we're going to go over a duo here. We have Illidus Darkbane and Friola Lightbane. These were actually a boss encounter during the Argent Crusade, Trial of the Crusaders, sorry, in Wrath of the Lich King. You fought both of these at the same time. So they're both 3 cost, 3/4s, but they each have their own effect when you target it with a spell. Darkbane, when you target it with a spell, you do +3 damage to a random enemy. Or sorry, you deal 3 damage to a random enemy. If you hit Lightbane with target Lightbane with a spell, she gains Divine Shield. So very, very interesting. They're low cost legendaries. I think that's something we've been needing. We've been needing some lower cost legendary threats, and we haven't had a lot of them up until now. Yeah, they have to be targeted with a spell, and that requires a very specific type of deck. But I think they're both really good. Darkbane a little bit more than Lightbane because, you know, dealing 3 damage is pretty good. You know, you run a spare parts deck, throw a spare part on her, and then get 3 damage on top of that. That's actually really good. And I actually really, really like these 2 cards. Low cost legendaries was just what we needed, and they gave us 2 amazing ones. So next we're going to go over the Silent Knight. 3 cost for a 2/2, Stealth and Divine Shield. Basically a really hard to remove minion, because it'll be stealth, so you can't target it with anything. The first bit of AoE will not kill it. This thing will almost always survive until your next turn. And that's an interesting spot to fill for a deck. It's basically a minion. If you're running a buffer deck that runs like Blessing of Kings, or something that'll give really big buffs, this is a card that will not be removed easily. So having a minion that will last till next turn, and being able to buff it with something that will hit really, really hard the following turn, it definitely fills a slot we didn't really have before. So I think this guy will see some interesting play. I'm going to tinker around with this guy a bit, and we'll see what we can actually pull out of it. But I think he's going to be a really good card. Just time will tell as to what he actually works with. So next we got the Argent Watchman, revealed a couple days ago. So Argent Watchman is 2 cost, 2/4, can't attack. 2 cost, 2/4 is 1 life better than usual 2 cost minions. But Inspire, if you Inspire, you can actually attack with it. It's a decent card, you know, for its body, it's actually pretty decent. I would compare it with something like the Ancient Watchman, which is 2 cost for a 4/5 that can't attack. But I don't know if this guy is going to be filling that role as well. You know, he can't attack, but if you use your hero power, he can attack. It's an interesting card, it really is, because you never know when your opponent's going to decide to activate him by using their hero power. All in all, I'd give it a decent review. Inspire decks could see some very, very nice stuff, and we haven't seen all the cards yet, so there definitely could be a few more things that it could synergize with. I give it an average rating, but I can't really say too well whether it's good or bad until we see the rest of the cards in the set. Let's look at a mage card. Mage common, the Spell Slinger, 3 cost, 3/4, Battlecry, add a random spell to each player's hand. Oh my gosh, more randomness for mages and spells. Now, if this just added to the mage's hand, I would say this is horrible, and why would you do this to us, Blizzard? Well, it's random for both people, and I think that's a very, very good thing. I'm quite happy with the fact that they did that. I think this will be a very nice card that mages could tinker around with, and it could actually very easily mess the mage player up by giving a really good card to the opponent. I like random, and this is more random. Awesome. Next, we're going to look at Demon Fuse, a new warlock spell. So, give a demon 3/3 and give your opponent a mana crystal. You can compare this with something like Demon Fire, which is the same thing, 2 cost for either 2 damage or +2/+2. This is the same cost, but it gives 1 more damage to each one and gives your opponent a mana crystal. If you draw into it late game, when there's 10 mana, there's no downside to it. It's a great card. But what I would do is use it in more of a rushy deck for Warlock. I think Zoo might actually use this card. In fact, I know that Zoo will use this card. This buffs Zoo up a bit. It also works with the 5/7 charge minion very, very well, because that becomes an 8/10 charge, which is really, really huge. So definitely a decent card, I think. It's just going to require some very niche decks in order to make it work. But it's another spell that Warlocks could very well use and could be very well useful. The secrets are going to be hidden and decide completely upon what deck they're put in. So next we're going to look at the Argent Horse Rider, 3 cost, 2/1, charge, Divine Shield. It's half of an Argent Crusader. Argent Crusader is 6 cost for a 4/2 charge Divine Shield. This is 3 cost for a 2/1 charge Divine Shield. It'll see use. I'm sure it will. Definitely see use. So next we're going to look at the Mage Spell. Flame Lance. 5 cost, deal 8 damage to a minion. Don't know if people are going to use this or not. I don't see it as being the most useful card in the world, because a Polymorph costs 1 less and is guaranteed to stop any effects that are on a minion. But it could be useful. The fact that you can't use it on a player is kind of sucky, but who knows? This thing might see some use, it might not, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Next, we got another Druid card, the Darnassus Aspirant. So 2 cost for a 2/3, great body. Gain an empty mana crystal on Battlecry, and on Death Rattle, destroy the mana crystal. So basically, this is an amazing Druid card that every Druid's going to run, because if you use it, you're going to get some mana ramp. It then needs to be destroyed, or has a reason for opponents to destroy it, because you'll lose that mana crystal automatically. There's really no downside to it, though. The only downside I see, though, is if it comes out of a Shredder on a person, they're going to lose a mana crystal out of it, which is kind of a bit of a shame, to be honest. But other than that, this is a great Druid card, and Druids have needed another great 2-drop. So this is definitely going to fill that role, and I'm going to be using the crap out of it along with Druids. Last card we got is another 2-cost minion, but this one's for Warlock. It's a 4/3, so it's a Succubus. But whenever this minion takes damage, also deal that damage to your hero. So let me clarify this. If you Frostbolt it, it'll take 3 damage and die, and you will take 3 damage to your hero. Very, very sucky. Well, also, say you got 20 armor on your warrior and you Shield Slam, and you deal 20 damage to this thing. Your Warlock will also take 20 damage. Now, early game, yeah, it's going to get Frostbolted, but it's a 4/2 minion. It's something that needs to be destroyed because it's a very big minion. So if you play this early game, you'll get value out of it. If you play this late game, the mage will see it and go, oh look, I'll kill this thing with a fireball. Fireball it for 6, fireball you in the face for 6 also. Not good. And even a hunter card, a hunter kill command. They'll go, okay, well, I was going to kill command you in the face because I'm a face hunter, but I'm just going to kill command your Wrathguard that you just played. Kill it, so you didn't even get any value out of it, and it'll also deal 5 damage to your face. Oh, Blizzard, why do you keep making these really, really difficult things? Now, if it only took a max of 3 damage, it would be better than a Flame Imp, but it's not. So, unfortunately, I don't know about this guy. It's also another bad card, because say you have a Shredder in your field, your opponent comes out, attacks into your Shredder, this guy pops out. Hey, guess what? I'm going to hit this guy and hurt you just as bad. It's really bad. I mean, I honestly don't know what they were thinking with this. I think they're trying to actually limit the usefulness of the 4-cost Shredder. If they do that, then this is 2 more bad cards. This and the last card are both really bad cards to come out of a Shredder. So you don't want to see these. You really don't. So, okay, guys, that was a bunch of new cards announced for this last week. I'm going to keep this up until all of the new cards are released. We're going to talk about them and have some more fun. There are only 37 cards that have been announced so far, guys, out of 132. There's still 95 new cards that we have not seen yet. So there's still a lot of great, not Goblins vs. Gnomes, a lot of great Grand Tournament cards to see, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time, Card Slingers, and have a terrific day.